And now, Player A, it's your turn. But this time you'll use some sorcery to make your moon sprite bigger and then launch an all-out attack. Untap your lands and creatures. Draw a card. You don't have any land cards to play. So what next, Player A? Come on, Player A. If you don't know, just say so. Oh, yeah. Well, where'd you get these?
I play some monstrous growth and tap some land to make my moon sprite bigger.
Well, that's right. That's brilliant. How'd you do that? Tap a forest and one other land to pay the 1+ green cost. And tell me, what does the card say?
It says, the Night Stalker's little game of tease the squirrel.
Not that.
The darker words.
The target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn.
If you make your ogre or willow elf bigger and attack, he'd just block with his cadet. Cadet would be destroyed, but your creature wouldn't get through to deal maximum damage. So you brilliantly realized that by making the moon sprite bigger, only the wind drake could block it. And you'd rather destroy his drake over the lowly cadet. So Moon Sprite's power and toughness is now 5/5 until the end of the turn. Time to attack. Tap all 3 creatures. Now, Player B, you have a few choices. Your drake could block the sprite, your knight could block the elf, and the cadet could block the ogre. Since the drake is 2/2 and the sprite is 5/5, the drake would be destroyed. And since the ogre is 3/3 and the cadet is 1/1, the cadet would be destroyed. But since the knight is 2/2 and his elf is 1/1, you would destroy the elf and you would take no damage. But his ogre would survive to hit you later.
Well, why wouldn't he take any damage? My sprite has a power of 5, but his drake has a toughness of 2, so wouldn't he take 3 damage?
The extra damage is simply wasted. It doesn't keep going. But that's not how we're going to block anyway. Try this route, Player B. The cadet blocks the elf, and it says on your playmat, blocking creatures can gang up on a single attacking creature. So the drake and the knight both block the ogre, and nothing blocks the sprite.
What are you talking about? That's not fair. They can't gang up.
Hey, who's the master here? Read your playmat, little man. It says, and I quote, blocking creatures can gang up on attacking creatures.
But the drake has flying. You can't fight my ogre.
Of course the drake can dive down and pounce your ogre. You're right, Player A. It's not fair. It's war! Let's look at the damage. The elf and cadet destroy each other because they're the same size. The drake and the knight, by ganging up, each deal 2 damage for a total of 4. The ogre has a 3 toughness, so he's destroyed. But his 3 damage is more than enough to destroy the drake with 2. It's not enough to destroy the knight, who survives. Finally, his moon sprite, with the help of sorcery, gets through to deal you 5 damage. Your life drops to 11. That's the bad news, Player B. The good news is, you destroyed his ogre.
So it's better to take the damage and destroy the ogre rather than get attacked later.
Correct. You know something, Player B? I think the Intelligizer is beginning to have a positive effect on your strategic thinking. You're done, Player A, and the moon sprite turns back into a 1/1 creature. Okay, Player B, time to hit back.
You're mine now.
Untap your lands. Draw a card. Now play a plains. Then play the giant octopus. Now tap an island and 3 other lands to pay for the giant octopus.
Here's the tip. Starting next turn, attack with octopus. Keep attacking every turn until he gets a creature big enough to block, okay?
So what do you do for the rest of this turn, Player B? Player B. Player B!
I tapped the knight. Hey, can you do that again? I tapped the knight to show it's attacking. His sprite can't block because it's tapped, so the knight deals 2 damage and his life drops to 13.
Perfect, Player B.
Great.
Say you're done.
Done.
I think you two have it figured out. We'll just leave you alone now to continue playing out the game. And thank you very much for helping us today.
Hey, give me some of that too.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our little demonstration. In time, you'll have mastered the game and be ready to add or subtract cards to create a deck that suits your particular strategy. And since we're always inventing new cards, the game is always changing. With themed decks and booster packs, you never know what new awesome power you'll discover. And some of these cards are becoming quite collectible. So open up your mind and your imagination with Magic the Gathering from Wizards of the Coast! Is this thing on? Step up your game with Magic Starter Theme Decks. Theme decks and booster packs allow you to construct your own personal deck, so you can crush opponents like tin cans in an alley. Maybe get good enough to do your own video, like me. Or maybe even get good enough to play in the big leagues.
It's been an exceptional year for American players. Unlike previous years, they've taken home the top prize in every major pro tournament. The Windy City, Chicago, welcomed the first Pro Tour featuring the extended constructed format. Newcomer Randy Buehler made a splash debut, defeating veteran competitor,
Oh my God.
David Mills. A transatlantic hop to Mainz, Germany was the tour's next stop, where Pro Tour regular Matt Place defeated Stephen O'Mahony Schwartz in a Tempest-only Rochester draft. Los Angeles was a chance for another veteran player to take home a victory as king of the qualifiers David Price defeated Ben Rubin in a Tempest-only constructed format. Then the road led to New York City, where yet another Pro Tour staple, John Finkel, proved his mastery of Tempest Stronghold Booster Draft by defeating Dominic Krapischitz. Players participate in the World Championships both as individuals and as national teams representing their home countries. In this year's team competition, the Americans came out on top, defeating last year's champions, the Canadians, and ultimately overthrowing the French 4-0. After 23 rounds of harrowing competition, it comes down to a single match between two California natives. Will the winner be Northern Californian Ben Rubin or his Southern counterpart Brian Selden?
It looks like out of nowhere, a relative unknown from California is going to be world champion. So the rest of this game is just going to be entertainment for the kids. I don't think anything great's going to happen.
Watching the biggest creatures in the universe.
It's just turned into the big game, folks. Spirit of the Night. I still think everyone should put a Feral Shadow and a Urborg Panther and a whatever that other thing is into their deck so they can bust out Spirit of the Night in more than one way.
This looks like the last turn of the game right here.
Yeah, I don't think that this isn't the glory days for Mog Flunky.
No, definitely not. Looks like Selden's just having fun, trying to get as much stuff into play before striking the final blow.
And I don't think anyone's ever actually had this big of stuff in play in a major tournament, so he's doing a good job.
And definitely it's going to recur one more time here. And he'll probably get, who knows? Anything does the job. Necrotal.
Doesn't really matter.
Down goes the Orc, and here they come. Crunch! And Selden wins the game.
That was an incredible comeback in Game 4 for Brian Selden.
And in doing so, he becomes the first American world champion since 1994.
The new Pro Tour season is quickly approaching. Look for these tournaments to produce more champions of Magic.